What's up, guys? Who is up right now holding their absence? That's right. My guests on the podcast this week are Ash and Lucas of Holding Absence. And what I was going to say metalcore band Holding Absence, but is it really metalcore? I guess it's metalcore adjacent. It's very nice. Checkered history between me and Holding Absence, which we get into immediately on the podcast. But we have a great chat about their band, about their rise to success, about touring the States, about loads of stuff. Bit of mental health sprinkled in there. It was a great little chat. Thanks for them for coming by. Before we get started, I want to just tell you we got a Patreon, patreon.com/the Downbeat. On it, you don't have to listen to me do ads. You get the episodes early. You get early access to the merchandise. You get a bunch of stuff. The lowest tier is £1, patreon.com/the Downbeat. If you absolutely despise me and everything I do, but you look terrible. I'll tell you this right now. If you do despise me, you do look terrible, and you just want to get some cool clothes, you could go to www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat, and you could get yourself some threads. Is that what they're calling it these days? Cool threads, right? To make you look cool. Loads of stuff. Hoodies, vintage t-shirts. Some of it's embroidered, some of it's screen printed. www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat. As ever, this episode is brought to you by those wonderful little people at Displate. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? You're looking around your home, and it's a loose term, home, because what I've been told is that you live in a sort of weird... You ever seen the movie Cube? It's like a torture dungeon that's just a square, with a bunch of square walls with nothing on them, right? Listen, you're not going to get baddies, gender-neutral baddies, with that sort of decor, okay? The Cube torture effect, right? You don't want it. You don't want that. What Displate's going to help you do, right? They make metal posters, right? They mount on the wall with a magnet. It's super, super easy. They got movies, they got games, they got other podcasts probably, they got bands, they got festivals, they got all sorts of stuff. Displate.com. Listeners of the Downbeat podcast can get 22% off 1 to 2 displays or 33% off 3 or more at displate.com/the Downbeat and use the code Downbeat. It's Lucas Woodland and Ashley Green of Holding Absence on the Downbeat podcast. Holding Absence!
Yeah, we made it.
We made it at last.
Yep.
How is everyone?
Yeah, good.
Good. Yeah.
Would you like to... I never do this, but would you like to introduce yourself and what you do in the band?
My name's Lucas and I sing for Holding Absence.
I'm Ash and I play drums in Holding Absence.
How come you're Welsh and you're not?
That's mad that you already know that. That's correct. That's crackers.
What do you mean I already know it? I can hear the two voices.
Yeah, true. Holding Absence is a weird band because none of the members now in the band were in the band.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
That's not my question, so ruin that for me.
Sorry.
Now. There you go, ruin that.
But Ash is the longest standing member in the band. That makes sense. Yeah, you've been in the band the longest, I guess. But we were all in a band before this, the four of us, kind of, back in like 2012 or whatever. And Ash was a fan of our old band. Our drummer broke his hand drunkenly punching a fucking restaurant sign because he was arguing with his missus, and then
Welsh.
Yeah. And then big, oh my god, we got a tour coming up, and it was like he broke his hand, so we were like, who on earth can drum and knows our songs? And then
Ash, not be quite violent when they're drunk.
Yeah. And then Ash was like our mate off Twitter basically, and then that band split up. Holding Absence started. Ash joined Holding Absence, and then slowly we kind of took members from the old band and replaced the... Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of complicated.
It is like a little revolving door of action.
Yep.
Of people like... I'm going to come to it because I've got questions about that. But But where are you from originally?
I'm from Northamptonshire.
So that doesn't count as North. That's like just
Midlands.
Before you get to North.
Yeah.
Midlands. North.
It's mad because so I was born and grew up in Northamptonshire. I lived in Oxford for a little while.
Ooh.
Then I moved to Nottingham, and then I literally moved to Cardiff to join the band.
Well, that's funny as well because we must have done this.
Yeah.
What years were this? Because I'm from between Oxford and Reading originally.
Yeah.
Moved to Reading, moved to Nottingham.
Yeah.
moved to
Oh
Scotland.
yeah, you were in Nottingham in like 2014.
Yeah, I moved to Nottingham in 2013. And then I think it was like January 2016 was when I joined the band.
Yeah.
But I was still in university in 2016. So the mid 2016, I was like, well, I finished university and I'm just going to move to Wales and join Holden Absence.
Fuck yeah. What did you do at uni?
Media.
Media.
Yeah.
Degree.
Yeah.
What's the official title?
I think it's a bachelor's in like creative media or something. The
You should be
blaggiest
sat
degree.
here.
Yeah.
I have a degree as well. We're educated people, but
What's
we're not
your
very good
degree?
at music. Just popular music. So
I've got a degree in music as well.
Have you?
Contemporary music. So here we are.
Okay.
Three bachelors.
So I'll host the podcast as the media aficionado.
I mean, you did come in kind of hot with a podcast hosting presence. Look at that.
that is strong, man.
Any body
I do
language
interviews way
experts?
more than him, and I feel a bit intimidated.
Any body language experts tell us what those elbows on the table mean? Because he looks
it's
like...
a bit guarded, but it's not.
I mean, because we have beef, so...
No,
We do have beef.
no, not anymore.
Do you want to
Not
squash? Do
anymore.
you want to squash the beef now?
Yeah,
I mean,
we-
we squashed it anyway.
Yeah, we were like, surely he's going to bring it up. So.
Oh, fucking immediately. And then we'll get on to Zildjian cymbals, and then we'll get on to fucking singing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What happened? I can't even remember. But let's hear your version of events, and then we'll hear mine.
Okay. So I think the because we were talking about it last night. Already, my heart is like.
By the way, Ash is a patron of the Downbeat podcast. So
He was
bro's
saying-
in the back cave right now.
Yeah.
He was saying he was a fan,
Yeah.
but then he sat on the table like that. So I'm like, fan or enemy? I was like, maybe you're doing like some weird, like, you know, like a
Look at me.
Korean revenge movie where they're like, I'm going to infiltrate. I'll be the biggest fan. I'll get in that room. I'll just stab him to death.
So it was 2020, right? It was 2020 when it was COVID. So everyone was in like weird space. But it was we were talking about it last night. But I think it stemmed from Stray doing the BLM shirt, and then some guy trying to come at you, be like, "Can you do one in the UK?" And you were like, "Nah, I don't."
He came for me harder.
Yeah.
Let's fact check this. It wasn't a BLM shirt. It was a defund Minnesota police.
Oh, okay.
I want to make that distinction.
Yeah.
It was two kids that were complaining about
Postage.
The postage.
Yeah.
And I did go pretty hard on them.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then a friend of mine put up like a dumb tweet of being like, "Oh, Craig Reynolds on the internet again," and
it was a baby crying.
Yeah. And then
Holding Absence retweeted it.
no, so the page liked it. Someone screenshotted that thing on the profile of the band liking it, and then sent it to you, and then that was when we had beef.
And then I shared that.
Yep.
Because I didn't know what it was about. I was like, it's weird because this was like the day after George Floyd.
Yeah.
I was like, Holding Absence saying that I'm being a baby by being annoyed about this thing. So you were talking about they were talking about the merch thing.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the other massive fucking thing. I was like, I didn't know these guys were white power. And there was a whole thing. But Faisal liked it too. He was out for a bit. We squashed that beef.
Yeah.
I'm insufferable on the internet. I get it. It was just funny. But then you hit me up.
I'm a sandbag in these situations, man. I was like, oh, Ash, let me jump on the hand grenade.
But you...
And then I was like...
Go on. Let's hear your
I was
version
like,
first. Is everyone okay? This is fine. Okay, good.
Yeah, we're good. So basically, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, Ash has liked the fucking stupid tweet of the band account, and now it's like interlinked with like being white supremacist, right? So I was like, come on. And we're like very outspoken.
Yeah.
Same as you guys, like super like leftist and very outspoken about a lot of stuff. So it was like, oh my God. And like, basically I was like, right, I'm the mouthy member of our band, right? So I was like, I'll just completely like just put my hands up and be like, super sorry, it was an accident. Genuinely sorry, basically.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, I went for a run. You know what it's like? It's like COVID, depressed, trying to lose weight, miserable, going for a run, put my phone in my pocket, boom, boom, boom. Come back an hour later, I look, Sam Carter, Jesse from Stig, the bassist of Knocked Loose. Everyone's just dogpiling me, and I'm just like, all my favorite bands hate me now.
No, we squashed it though.
I've got to say, the one thing that fucking creases me is because we weren't sure, because we were like, the thing is, on our end as well, there was never any beef, because like we don't, it's just like,
it wasn't with me either. I'm
stupid.
just fucking around.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, and like, but we did Blue Ridge together, right? And we'd not seen you since, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I know you and Ash had kind of like, touched base, and it was kind of cool. It wasn't whatever. But I didn't really know where it was in the public forum. And I was like, oh man, it won't be awkward, but like, might it be awkward? And I'll never forget, we were watching you guys, and I stood next to Ash, and Ash just starts walking on stage. I was like, oh no, he's going to tackle Craig to the ground.
He fixed my cymbal.
And then he just came over, fixed your cymbal, walked off, and I was like,
I
think that's the squashing.
that was a moment. That was a moment, wasn't it? Yeah. But there wasn't any beef anyway, because I was like, oh, it's Ash. What's up, Ash? And then I remembered, I was like, oh, wait a minute. You told me something in your apology, and then we'll get off this. You said, sorry, Ash was meant to do that off his burner account.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Or maybe,
So what I need to know is, do you have a burner account?
No.
No.
Was that you just putting out the fire?
It was any cloth to put on the fire. No, I think it was more like wrong account, I guess. But don't worry, he isn't that one private quote retweet on every fucking.
Yeah, do you know what? After that whole thing, I had someone hit me up really recently. I obviously have forgotten about all that. Like, you know what it's like on Twitter. I say some mad shit and then I just go, fuck this. And then I like, it's gone. I don't mean half the things I fucking say on Twitter anyway. Same. And then someone hit me up like, I just want you to know you were really right about that merch postage thing. And I was like, I'm sorry, what are we talking about here? And he's like, oh, in the pandemic. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
3 years ago, dude. Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Thanks. I was fucking right. Yeah. Thanks for coming on the Downbeat.
Thanks for having us.
I'm sorry if that was awkward, but
No. We I feel like we know you well enough to know that was just gonna be in a good way. We were because it's just like, get it fucking sorted, man. So, but
hard feelings.
Thank you for having us, though. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. We were trying to do it for a minute. I appreciate you coming down. Double whammy as well. Love a double whammy.
The double bubble. Yeah, I know.
I've got a question for that. We might as well go straight in on it. What were you going to say, Mr. Media Man? You open your mouth.
I think my favourite episodes are the double whammy ones.
Really?
Yeah, the Alfulf one, the Static Dress one. I've listened to the Static Dress one like 3 times.
Do you know what? That's one of my favourites, but I feel like this is going to be one of my favourites as well. There's a vibe. It's a good vibe. Ooh. The thing about these ones that sucks, the setup is so much harder to do. To get, as you saw, to get everyone in. If you're just listening to this, fuck you, but listen to all of the ads that Spotify puts in, please. I'll take that money. So it's you two here, right? Yeah. Which is funny because, I mean, I guess you're the only two that I really know from the internet anyway. But I noticed something. Greatest mistake of my life. Yep. Writing credits. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more other names. You got Faisal from Loathe. You got Dan Weller, producer. Yep. I recorded my first album with Dan Weller.
No shit.
Yeah, Viatry was Dan
no way. Yeah,
he made me do
the tech metal master.
Top and bottom.
Did he make you do top bottom?
Banging.
Fuck, do you like it?
Yeah, so good.
It was weird to watch though. Through the door, he's like,
you liked it.
Yeah.
I like the end product.
Yeah, I like the end product, but if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about when the producer records all the shells of the drums and then all the cymbals as 2 separate takes. More than 2 fucking takes, but and it allows you to get no cymbal bleed or whatever. It takes fucking forever. Did you find it hard to do?
I think the first song I did, I was like, oh, this is weird. But then it's weird because it was the first, for me, it was very much like that was the first full album that we recorded. The first album we did in like 2 separate parts. We kind of did a first half and then we recorded the second half of the first album in like 2 very separate time periods. So
car crash.
Yeah.
But I thought it was banging.
Really?
We were in Middle Farm and I was like, the vibe is high. It was so good.
So did they mute the cymbals while you played, or did you just no cymbals?
No, we put towels over the cymbals.
Yeah, so you were still playing everything, and then
oh no, so it was like right hand on the thigh.
And you enjoyed that?
It was so good. Yeah,
I think it was so cool. Weird. Yeah, I fucking. But you're such a groovy player. Like I can imagine that would be really hard.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's nice not even my question, by the way. I've got a different question.
But no, it's all good. I don't know. It just when we were doing it and I was listening to the songs, it was more like it was definitely like song serving playing, which I liked at the time. But then,
it's great drum mix.
Yeah.
The mix on that album gets like real plaudits, man. Yeah.
He's got a writing credit on there. Faisal's got a writing credit on there. New album, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
most of the writing credits are you two.
Oh no!
Really?
Well, good job.
If you go
Good
on,
job.
if I've just unleashed something here, sorry, we can cut it out. If we go on the writing credits, it says you two.
That's mad.
So
That's mad. I know nothing about that.
Nah,
PRS day tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
it is. I know. It's like Christmas. Well, to be fair, basically what we do with Holden Absence is we split all the royalties 4 ways.
Yeah.
So Ash has got credits for all the songs. Generally, though, if you don't mind me saying on your behalf, like it is more so like me and Scott do most of the writing, and then we kind of take, I guess, because one thing that's really important, I think it's really cool doing this actually, because it's like Ash is like the secret weapon of our band. Like when you come and watch us live, it's like Ash is like a front man, you know. It's like the energy is insane, and like you said about the splitting the cymbals with the shells thing, like a big thing that we've I don't know if we perfected it particularly, but it's like something that we always try and pull through is like getting Ash's like personality into the music.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like maybe I just thought it'd be hard to do that with Top Kit Bottom Kit, because when you see,
But I think it's like walloping the fucking.
Yeah, giving like 100% drums and 100% cymbals, so you get like
200%.
player.
Did you do the new record like that?
No,
as
so
well?
ironically, we were like, right, that was cool, but then we were like to try and capture Ash in the same way, but in a different method. Let's do it normal so we can really like lash the stuff. So some of those fills are like, you know, like real. Whereas I think like, you know what it's like trying to left brain, right brain it is. I think maybe, like you said about servicing the songs with The Greatest Mistake, there wasn't much like crazy intricacies on the drums because we were servicing the songs. Whereas with the Noble Art, it was like, because of the way we're tracking it, like let Ash just rip, you know?
Where did you track it?
In Canada, in a place called Jukasa Studios.
Really? Yeah. Who's the producer?
With Dan,
Dan
again. Yeah. So we flew him out. Yeah.
Is he there now? Because I remember he was in like Thailand for a bit.
No, he did the Enter Shikari album in Thailand.
Right.
I think that's the one you're on about. But no, basically we were like, it sounds really stupid, but a big part of our career is just like we're overly earnest. We're all very like, ooh, like could split up tomorrow, like better enjoy it, you know. And like basically with Sharptone, it was like a 3-album deal. So, you know, we were kind of like, could be the last album we ever do, you know? And even though I'm sure we'll resign and I'm sure we'll do another album, it's like, it was kind of like, what is like a bucket list thing that if, say, we never release music ever again, like, what do we want this to be, basically? So yeah, we were like, let's go overseas. And
what part of that was bucket list? Just doing it overseas,
just doing it overseas.
Or the studio in general?
I personally had this like theory where it was like, you know, waking up in a different place and, you know, like it almost like breeds some sort of like different energy into the...
I love it. We go to Will's every time we record.
The problem we had though is like...
lad's holiday.
Yeah. But it was like we just finished a tour. Like, so we were in America anyway, so it didn't really feel different. Because we'd acclimatized so intensely, right?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
a fucking big part of it.
Yeah, so I kind of wish we'd flown in and done it and flown out like you might have.
No, you don't.
No, okay.
Honestly, because we had every Stray album I've ever tracked, I have flown in the day before, or if not, I will track on that day.
That's mad.
And it sucks. And like by day 3, there was one time where like my brain broke and it's never been the same again since. Like me and Will butted heads. And it was just like my brain was because of the jet lag, was just resisting fucking information.
Yeah.
And we had such a finite time to do it that the last time I was like, I'm going to fly in 4 days earlier and I'm just going to fucking hang out and then I'll be ready. And it was fucking awesome. I'm just going to do that every time.
We're really big on that now. Like with touring, like doing America, it's like the sooner we can get there, the better. I know at the end of the day, obviously every minute is money when you're touring. So it's like, you know, if it was up to the people in the chairs, you know what I mean? Like you get over there, you come the hell back kind of thing. And it's because there's money. But it's like for us, it's just like, man, like we did a show in Mexico City quite recently. And it was like, we flew in, we had a day off, we played Mexico City, we had another day off, we flew out. And we really viewed that as like one of the coolest periods of our band's career. Cause it was like, it actually felt like almost what people imagine touring is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we had food in the thing and we went for walks and it was really cool. And it never happens like that.
Have you done Southeast Asia?
No.
Oh, don't. No,
Right,
no,
so
I'm dying to.
every time we've done Southeast Asia, it's been the most melancholy thing because we'll fly in, play a show, go straight to the airport, sleep for 2 hours at the airport, go to the next show, and you do that for 5 days, and you're brain dead. But what you just said, like next time, and no one's fucking invited us again, but next time I want to go fly in, day off, show, day off in the next city, show, day off, and then it's just fucking, it's like a holiday, best job in the world.
We had a tour like the one you were just describing that was booked, and it was, you might remember more than I do, but it was like 2 China dates, 1 Singapore, maybe
fuck
Jakarta,
China though, boys.
whatever.
Fuck that shit.
Really?
Yeah, you dodged the bullet there.
But
no
it was
offense,
like,
anyone watching in China.
but it was like, oh man, it was like play, fly, and for us, like the reason we pulled it was because it was like,
It was literally sandwiched between an America tour and an Australia tour as well.
Yeah,
was
you'd have been
absurd.
fucking burnt. I was fucking brain dead last time, but having not gone, I'll do it again. Have you done Japan?
no, man, that's my.
I'm jealous for
Yeah.
you because you're going to do it, obviously. Like 100% you're going to do it. There's no way. If you haven't done it by now, my only recommendation is just fly in fucking a week early.
Yeah.
It's just
for
the
sure.
best fucking place on earth. Oh, I'm so jealous that you haven't been. Maybe we should go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
We're like,
Book it
I
up.
think we're like fucking planning some Japan shit.
There you go.
Ooh,
done.
we do quite well there now.
There's the
because we
scoop.
Keep going back because I want to go on holiday. I'm gonna sort that out. I can't say what I was about to say, but I'm not going to do it. Have you got how many US tours you done now? Is you just every album you do a couple? Or?
Dude, we've honestly, man, we're really, really grateful. Like 2 years ago this week, we did our first one, and we just did our 5th one, which was a headline tour. So in 2 years, we've done 5. We're going back to Sleeping Sirens in September. Like it's kind of crazy. We've weirdly become not like more like not like more American than British in any way, obviously. But it's like there's only so much touring you can do in the UK, obviously. So for us, it's like, dude, like every like 4 months we'll do an America tour.
What sort of capacity venues for the headliner?
We just did like 400 to 600s for the headline.
That's fucking great.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and
so good.
And we did 75% of all tickets as well. So it was we couldn't believe how well it went. To be honest, yeah. But yeah, we've been really lucky. And it was cool as well because like for us, it's like I feel like we sit in between like the nostalgia and the contemporary a lot. So we did a tour with Dayseeker and a tour with The Plot and You, who were like crushing like contemporary bands, you know. And then as well as that, we did Senses Fail, Silverstein, Amity Affliction. We're doing Sleeping with Sirens now. So those are for us nostalgia bands. So it's like it's really cool to be going out there and doing it, you know, feeling like part of the current scene, and then also feeling like we can play to like throwback crowds a little bit. And they feel like successful shows as well, you know.
The throwback crowds are fucking great. And we just did a Silverstein tour and it was like amazing for us. I mean, everyone stood and watched us like this.
Like bored as fuck.
Like, but then we sell like $1 million in merch. So just be like, oh, you were having a good time. Like on stage, I was like, what the fuck? Everyone hates us. And then we sell so much merch.
Yeah, like adults have money and kids don't. That's crazy, innit? Who'd have thought?
I'll never forget that there was always one person per show. Just like a guy that did not want to see us, and he was just like this with his, and they always a trucker cap, and it was just like this the whole thing. And if I could get that guy to nod once, I'm fucking in.
Bro is just shaking his head constantly.
Or that same guy will come up to you after and be like, that was the best fucking show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fully fucking deadpan. It's like, why don't you just fucking enjoy it then?
Do you guys get like? It must be kind of weird because it's like you're such a political band. It's like, especially in America. It must just be like, that guy's just an alt-right fucking dude, and it's just, he's never going to like my band. You know what I mean?
No, we've only ever had it. Do you know what? There was only once where, so obviously when the Goodnight Alt-Right thing happened, that was, we had people, there was probably, and when everyone goes like, oh, I got thousands of death threats on Twitter. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. I fucking did.
Really?
And it was like people with their guns. Like,
I actually will shoot you.
See you on tour, friend. And we were like genuinely like worried, like what the fuck's going to happen because whatever. And then we went and we had less people come up to us after the show being like, I disagree with you. It was just like absolutely fine, and all these people were just like, oh, we're going to fucking kill you. That just made me realize the internet's not the real world. Because it was like, if you really wanted to kill me, you had the easiest assassination job on the planet Earth.
Yeah, dude.
Go to this website. I'll tell you a list of 300 to 500 capacity rooms that I will be sat down on a stage for
stationary
45 minutes. You can just you can pop me. Not a single fucking one. And I was kind of gutted.
Yeah.
I took that personally because I was like, good Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That would have been hard.
How do you go out? Fucking just popped on stage. Boom, come get me, motherfuckers. Please do. Speaking of depression, how's your brains? You got sad lyrics.
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's interesting you ask that though, because we just hit a wall, I think, as a band, like for the first time, maybe ever, with that headline tour we just did. It was like, because honestly, since the pandemic, we've played like 300 shows in 3 years, and it's like we'd never done more than like 60 a year, you know? So for us now, doing 100 shows a year for 3 years and literally not stopping, like, and I think the main thing as well is like, it's like daisy chaining like tours, you know what I mean? So twice now we did America, Australia, UK, Europe, like dunk for 3 months straight, like twice in the last like 18 months or something. And then amongst that did like loads of, like lots and lots of touring. So it's like, so yeah, when we did the recent headline run, it was, it felt like, it was like, you know how it is, the higher you are, the lower you feel sometimes, right? And it was like, this is such a special tour. We can't believe we're doing this. You know, we're doing venues that we'd be proud to do in the UK, in America, right? So it's like, wow. And like, yeah, I think we all just like had like real like mental burnout. And like, it was weird, like not to be lame, but like I cried on stage one night. I was talking to the crowd and I was talking about, you know, like being together and thanks for coming out. We're so far away from home. And, you know, and I was like, and I realized like, I was like, wow, I feel really lonely actually. And like, I just started crying and it was like, oh my God, this is a new low for me. You know what I mean? So mentally we've definitely reached a new, I think we hit an all-time low mentally because I think we pushed too hard, to be honest.
When the band was at an all-time high.
But I think it's nice because it's like, I feel like we bounced up from it, you know, like we sat around, we had a chat after the tour and we just like, we all had a little cry. Like, do you know what's funny actually? Like me and Ash are very emotional people, but like I'm very extroverted, you know, I've got that nice little ADHD goopy goblin, like can't help but talk my shit.
That's actually the first time it's come out, but
yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, you see, oh, there it is.
And then Ash, on the other hand, you know, and I think we inspire and, you know, frustrate each other in different ways because Ash is incredibly emotional, but like very introverted. So like when I can tell Ash is emotional, I almost need to like pull it out. Whereas with me, I'm like, bleh, you know? Yeah. And I think with Scott and Ben, then the other two members of our band, they're very calculated, diplomatic people. So they're not overly emotional. So sometimes when we're on tour, it's like, I know. So sometimes when we're on tour, it's like, I am crying every day. Ash looks like he wants to cry, but can't. And then those two are just like legends and doing everything they can to help. But ultimately, I need a shoulder to cry on, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was weird. And we had a chat and we were like, look, this band is in a really healthy place, but there are ways of us breaking it now. Like it's in a place where we could just, it could snap at any moment. So we've got to be really careful. So yeah, my lyrics obviously like sad, but we're even sadder in person. But we're doing good now though. So,
yeah. Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Just checking everything.
It was tough though, man. Like, yeah, it was weird. It was like, whoa, like this is like hard.
Do you have to wait until you're on sorry to be all about your vocals, but it's all just in my brain. Do you have to wait for a low to write lyrics? Or can you write a sad lyric when you're happy? I always wonder this.
I do this thing where like I write lines a lot. So like something will come up in my head and it comes from loads of different places. So for example, like I'll watch a film or I'll read a comic or something and some like a sentence will just ping to me. Like the concept of a sentence will just stick out to me and I'll just keep that. Or like, you know, I'll notice a word rhymes with another word and sometimes it sounds stupid, but I'll mishear a word and then realize it rhymes with another word. And then I'll be like, okay. And my phone is just full of one-liners basically. Yeah. And then what I do, I always refer to it as like, it's kind of like making a mosaic, you know, because it's like all these different like shards of stuff like fit together ultimately. And then my job is like a lot of the time when it comes to writing lyrics is like, in the moment, I will consistently, like some mornings I'll wake up and I'll have written a lyric in my sleep because like I'm rolling around and I'm just thinking about something and I can't, and I'm like, okay, put that in the phone, right? But then like, yeah, my job generally is arranging those things a lot of the time. So I don't really like sit down, but this is what I mean, like you said about I have to be like miserable to write this stuff is like, I might have just had a tough hour over 2 weeks ago. And that brought this really cool sentence out.
You don't need to be in the headspace again.
No, I don't need to. Like, I think about Brendan from Counterparts, and I know he like goes at like a song, right? Like from what I can gather anyway.
At the last minute, by the way. It's literally 1 week before they have to track it.
And for me, I couldn't do that because it's like how to like, oh my God, that would destroy me.
Look at him. Look at the state of him. It destroys him. But he does it every time. And we'll like, even if there was a period where we're like, touring. I don't want to cut your story, but we were like always doing albums back to back with Counterparts. So there'd be like a crossover, and we would do the album first and be like, "Oh, how's Counterparts going?" And Will would just be like, "Brendan needs to do some fucking lyrics." It just does it last minute every time.
I just couldn't. Yeah, and like for me as well, it's like I'm especially like it sounds dumb, but like when I was in university, right? Like my dissertation, I did like 4 months of it because I was like, I know I can't do this. Like, you know, I got buddies who like did it the night before, and I just know I can't. So for me, it's like it's almost like premeditated, like slow work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So pressure writing is just like not a thing for me. So.
I used to be the pressure writer guy, music, dissertation, school, all of that shit. It was just last minute. And then I realized it's just so terrible for my mental health.
Yeah. So stressful.
Because rather than like, let's say you end up doing something in a week that you should have taken 4 months for, it's not like you get 3.66 months of rest. Yeah. You've got 3.66 months of worry about that week.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas you could have done Slow and Steady. So this Stray album, and we're going to come to some drum stuff in a minute, because this Stray album, I've got the longest amount of time I've ever fucking had to learn the parts that I programmed that are too fucking hard for me to play. I
remember hearing you say in an interview, like, we just jam a song and then we just kind of like find the purest strain of it and then get it in the studio. Yeah. I remember thinking like, oh my God, like we could never do that. Especially, I guess we're very different bands though. Like yours is a real band, you know what I mean? Like ours is like a laptop band.
No, we're in that zone. I do want to get onto how you write a song, because the last 2 records, it's not been whole songs like that, but it has been jammy. It's been virtual, but me on Twitch, Tom's watching the stream. I'm playing a bunch of drum beats, and he's like, "Oh, that one's really cool."
Cool.
And then I record it and send it to him, and then it's like a virtual jam.
Because we've spoke about this before, where it was like Ash just jam, and then if there's anything cool, we can pluck it out. You know what I mean? But I think it's just hard because like for us, like for you guys, like a like intricate beat would really serve a cool verse, right? You know, whereas for us, it's like it's kind of boring, but like. Verses and choruses are almost premeditated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, essentially, are you going full time or half time?
You got.
What's the BPM? It's like
you
really
got to sing.
Yeah.
You've made the mistake, but the problem is you made the mistake of making the ceiling of how big your band can be bigger by not doing too much screaming, because we got that ceiling, the scream ceiling, whereas you guys you might have to play some slightly boringer drum parts, but. You could be far, far wealthier and successful. Have you got an approach to writing drum parts? Like similar? Because I do what he does. If I'm listening to a score, I ripped off something from The Dark Knight recently. Like there's a Hans Zimmer background drum that does like a quintuplet thing. And I was like, that's fucking sick. Get it in the notes. And then when we're in the studio, I bring up the idea. Immediately Will hears quintuplets and says no. And then I'm like, no, let me program it. And then I programmed it, and it ends up, it's the last bar of the last song on the record.
Yeah.
Have you got like a particular writing style for drums?
Kind of. So because Scott and Lucas they'll send like basically fully formed songs. So I feel like my job or like my position is very much like, if the vibe is so good, like I never want to be like, oh, instead of on the 3, I'm going to change it to 2 and 4 and then completely change it. Like I'll be like, okay, the vibe is so solid. I'll just be like, how can I just put in mad stuff?
How good are the programmed drums when they get to you?
Good. Usually really good. Scott is and not that he's not a good guitarist, he's a great guitarist, but Scott is like a producer, songwriter, and then he also plays guitar. He looks at like a guitar like a tool to make a song.
Yeah.
So like he's very like, I can't really explain it, but like I'll get demos and I'll be like, yeah, this already sounds like there are some songs where I'm like, I don't want to change it, but I'm just gonna fuck around and find out.
We're like a band of air drummers as well. So like everybody really values drums.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you can hear it in the music. Like there's groove there.
I think sometimes as well, it's very much if there's like some space somewhere in a song, or if it's like if I don't have an idea, I can kind of like be a bit more like I'll just see. So the last 2 records with Dan, it's probably really frustrating, but I'll like not repeat a fill in a take.
Yeah.
I'll kind of like do one fill and then it'll be like, can we do another one? And I'll be like, yep. And then I'll play someone else. And it'll be like, can we do another one? And I'll be like, yep, play another, just different fill. And it'll just, different fills will start on like different beats.
On purpose, or because you're just like, I'll just chuck a fill in here.
Yeah, just that.
Really? So you're not like, you don't go in meticulous with like, this is what I'm going to do?
No, not really.
I was that person.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's different for us because we're a metal band. Like, but like previous albums, that's been my shortfall with me and Will, because I'll listen to the track and I'll go, yeah, I'll play something like that. And then I go into the studio and Will will go, can we just play what was on the demo, please? And I don't know it. And it's just like something simple, like just moving a crash. And my brain just goes, well, that's not how we've been doing it. And then I just fucking melt down, like fucking have a full meltdown. So they're quite forgiving of you just doing what you want.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky in that respect, because there are lots of bands where I couldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only just recently on this record because the other day it took me 3 days to learn 8 bars of music because I sat with Will when we programmed all the drums this time. It wasn't like him programming a version of what I played. It was me and him sat there and I was like, I think I can do this. And I came home and I was like, set myself the goal. Like what we were saying about like not leaving it to the last minute. Set myself the goal to, I'm going to learn these program drums as close to the actual program drums as possible. And it's just not how my brain works.
So you've written like batshit stuff.
Batshit.
And then you've gone, oh, fucking shit.
Damn it.
I have to do this now.
Yeah.
Whereas normally it's like I've played what's been programmed because it's been simpler, and then I've added the batshit stuff in the studio, and Will's been like, no, whatever. And this time it's like we've agreed on the batshit. The batshit's there. Has to stay.
To be honest, personally, we haven't even spoken about this as a band, but like I can feel us going in that direction maybe for number 4, because it's like we've always, like I said, our relationship with the drums and Ash's kind of character as a drummer has always been very respectful, you know what I mean? Like we've always wanted to try and like bring him out as like an instrument rather than just like a beat, if that makes sense. Whereas like, yeah, I can feel it going like, you know, the separating the cymbals and the thing was, we did that for a reason. And then we recorded like the way we did on the last album to try and capture the live energy. And whereas with the next album now, I feel like we're very much yearning for like making sure everything's premeditated, like leaving nothing up to chance now for the next album, I think.
Can you program drums?
Yeah. I'm shit hot at it.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or raw.
No, it's real.
It was like so, it was so confident. I was like, I don't know if he's joking. So wait, do you then, so like, let's say you get the track and let's say you think something could be better there. Yeah. Do you then jam to it, then program what you did and then send it back, or you still just wait? Or
you've got that EAD thing, which we might use.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of done any way that you're like, have you done it this way? I've probably done it. So like, I'll be like, if I can't get, so our setup's quite weird, so I don't have a kit that I can practice on all the time, and our gear is always in Cardiff. I live in Bristol.
Practically Cardiff.
Yeah. I'll be like, if I'm like, oh my God, I've got a great idea for something like now, I'll be like, Scott, please send me this without drums, and then I'll program something on it. Or if it's like there was a song on the new record where I was like, okay, I know that there's 2 sections where there's going to be batshit fills. Yeah. So I want to practice them months before, and did, and it was sort of like the fills that were there were very much like, I don't want to play these. I feel like I can just do something better. So, but then I didn't ever program them. I was just like, I know that I'm just gonna practice them and play them, and I'll remember them.
And then what happens? Let's say you're in the studio and you improvise a fill, then you have to play that because obviously the album comes out about 6 months later. Yeah. Do you learn what you played, or are you also improvising?
Honestly,
Ash is a little criminal.
Yeah, I'm a proper villain.
I know.
Yeah. Our live show is like definitely different to our recorded stuff.
Yeah, because I see your drum videos, which are very good, by the way. Thanks. And then I'm like, that's not on the record.
I think it comes from.
I've deliberately went back and gone, what is that fill? Because I want to figure it out. And I go back to the record. I'm like, that's not isn't even a fucking fill there.
Yeah.
I think that's the. I've like kind of spoken about it before, but Luca's got it right. I feel a bit of a criminal sometimes because like my mindset is on the record. It's like it's there forever. Whereas at the live show, that's just for tonight. So like, I want people to go away and be like, "Whoa!"
Does that not stress you out? You don't make mistakes and shit.
I do make mistakes quite not a lot, but like I definitely fumble the bag sometimes. But I think that's part of like why I don't know. Like I just want to be a great improv player as well. But also, it's that thing of like knowing when to be like, don't go ape shit tonight. You know,
that's funny because we've got like one improv section. It's not improv. It's meticulously fucking to look like improv.
Yeah.
And then I play the same thing every night. And then maybe the last night of tour, or if we had a running joke in the day, it's the end of First World Problem Child.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had like a joke during the day where we've been talking about, I think it was the last day of the last tour. We were listening to a fucking like a disco song or something. We were listening to Carpenter Brute.
Yeah.
And instead, I'd do this fucking mad fill. And on the last day of tour, instead of where it was, I just went boom, scats. Everyone on stage just fucking lost it. Like, what the fuck is happening? I wish I could do more of that. But I would fuck up. When you make a mistake on...
Not if, when.
Yeah, when. We all make them. Yeah, and that wasn't a slight at you.
No, yeah,
when you make a mistake on stage, do you beat yourself up about it afterwards?
I used to. I used to do it a lot. But now I'm like... Now I'm very much like... I think we definitely like found the medium of like last year when it was like what makes a good show and what makes a good performance are different. So like we'll come off stage and I'll be like, if I see the three boys are like, that was the best show ever, and I've had an absolute like
stinker
farm of a show, then I'll be like, okay, I feel like my performance wasn't good enough, but the show was good, so cop that and like just worry about tomorrow.
Fucking bury it deep down.
Ash is in quite like a different office space, really, when you think about it. Because like for me, like we have these conversations all the time. We're like, like let's pull this song and put this song in because personally, I'm fucking watching the crowd not enjoy this song as much, right? Whereas for Ash, it's just like that was the worst show of all time. You know what I mean? It was like, no, dude, it was fucking insane. It's just you dropped a fill, right? You know what I mean? So it's like it's That's completely the mentalities are very, very different. But yeah, you were right though. It's like trying to find trying to mediate the space between like it feels different, but it feels too different. Like pull it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like I feel exactly the same. And in my old age, I have learned like. If the crowd's been going fucking mental, like it doesn't matter. Like I used to come off stage if I played badly, and the same thing. I had the worst show in the fucking world ever. And it's like that's such a. In my old age, I've thought like that's such a fucking arrogant view of it because it's like everyone in the crowd had a fucking great time. It's like not even in the like no one noticed. Just like who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I to think like that show sucked because I couldn't play something right? It's like so in my old age, I've been more like. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could have played better, but whatever. But then I just stew about it in my bunk instead.
Yeah, dude.
Still up there.
I think, though, we do encourage, like, self-criticism quite a lot in our band because it's, like, it is obviously the route to growth, you know what I mean? So even though you're right, like, don't kill yourself over it and don't, like, paint a good show bad because you fumbled a fill. Like, it is important to know why you fumbled the fill, or maybe not to try there, or not even a fill, but, like, for me personally, like, I'm similar to Ash, like, vocally as well, where like I'll do stuff different if it feels right, and then some nights I'll be like, oh god, okay, right, don't do that again. But I'm glad I failed to learn from that, you know.
Have you got I'm going to come on to yours because you did something last night, or something happened last night. Have you got a monumental fuck up that you can think of? Worst time you've ever fucked up?
Ones that I've fucked up is kind of like trying to think.
You ever dropped both sticks?
Oh my god, bro! Blue Ridge, the one that we played. I'm fucking shit you not, because I saw you after, and you were like, "How was it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I think it was Gravity, and like I remember, some of the guys from Soundtown and Sharp Tone were there, and I was like,
"Good."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, it's 12:30, and everyone thinks we're on at 1, so no one's here. So it's just big practice in a big field, and we've just woken up." I remember thinking like, or not thinking, but in Gravity, which I think was maybe like third song, middle of the set.
Yeah.
I was playing and I dropped my right stick and I was like, oh, left stick, fine, put it in the right hand. And as I went to put it in the right hand, it left my hand and I was just on stage about to try and play. And I was like, I've got nothing in my hands. It was pretty.
Did you
like,
have sticks like close by?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I've done
for
it before and had nothing. That's when I started like putting my sticks in my snare drum thing.
Oh yeah,
Like a little.
Yeah.
Because like if you drop both sticks, what can you fucking do? I think I tried to use my head. I was like, what am I going to do? And it was like, instinct wasn't to use my hands. I think I just went on the fucking rack tom. I was like, well, that's not going to work.
I was gonna say you did splinter your own eyeball once.
Oh yeah, that was horrendous.
What happened there?
In Paracon.
Yeah,
right?
on
2019.
Paracon. I can't remember what it was, but I hit something, and obviously the end of the stick came off. And as it came off, it went into my eye.
Fear.
First song, and I remember like being like, "Oh my god, that was killing!" And then I stood up off my stool whilst the start of the second song was rolling, and I like put my head on my stool, and I was like, "God, this really hurts." For the rest of the set, I was then like, "Something's up, something's wrong." And I went to the medical tent, and they were like, "No, you've just grazed your eye." Yeah,
Gross though.
Reminds
It was
me of
horrible.
what the fuck is the name of the film? It's a really deep cut. If anyone gets this, I think there is an Italian zombie film called Zombie with an I, and there's a scene where a zombie's trying to get through a door,
Yeah.
and the door is splintered, and there's this woman trying to push the door shut,
Yeah.
and it just goes into her eye, and it's like old school 80s B movie effect of this eye just getting splintered. That's all I thought of it.
Yeah.
What happened last night, Lucas? Nice t-shirt. You got an Akira t-shirt. We got
Yeah,
Akira
dude.
behind you. Double Akira.
Akira's my shit, man.
Yeah, same.
I got to shout out the guy who made this t-shirt. Is his Instagram is Usagi Boots, right? He's so good. He's
Love a
designed
good
some.
boot.
Yeah. He's
got one,
he's
sorry.
the goat. But he designed some anime merch for us quite recently. And
awesome.
He's so good. So if you're into bootleg stuff, he just did an Akira run. He's just like, he's really good. So the shirt.
I get in trouble because I'm a big bootlegger fan. Because, and I buy a lot of bootlegs because, and the thing is, it's because the vintage t-shirt market is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's so like inflated.
And then bands don't reprint the shirts that everyone fucking wants. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I see all these like cease and desists that happen from like legacy bands, and I'm like, why don't you just make the shirt everyone wants?
For sure, man. And like with this now, I'm like, if Akira like as a brand sold this shirt, I'd fucking buy
Yeah.
it. So I'm not trying like, and I think that's a big part of it. Is almost like those IPs don't understand like how to brand themselves as
Yeah.
well as like random guys on Instagram do.
I don't want to dox him, but a friend of mine did. I think it was a HBO. He did a Sopranos one, and it fucking popped the fuck off. And I'm pretty sure he ended up, instead of a cease and desist, he ended up actually designing some merch.
Nice.
I think it was for
Nice.
HBO. I can't
Cool.
remember, but it was like they hit him up and were like, "Look, we want you to stop selling this. Please stop selling this, but also like."
You want a job? It's like like when somebody codes like when somebody like hacks a website and then they like they hire the guy. It's like,
Come and fuck me up. Oh, you might be wondering how I got into this website. Give me some money and I'll fix it
I'll
for
tell you. Yeah.
What happened last night?
Well, nothing crazy. Well, it was nothing crazy to be fair, but yeah, I was swinging the mic by the lead, and I just felt the weight of my lead lessen. I was like, I wonder what could have changed, and I was like, perhaps the mic attached to the end of the lead. And then I looked, and there's no
just lead.
So yeah, it's all
cable.
lead, no mic. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I've just like knocked out some like 13-year-old like Pierce the Veil
yeah,
fan.
like a fucking
swing. And then I looked at the crowd and nobody, I was like, I'm sure if that landed in the crowd, there'd be like a visible kind of sign. Then one of the photographers just gave me the mic back. So it went in the photo pit.
Is there a photo of that as well? We'll pop that up there if you're watching on the
There's
YouTube.
two so far.
Just subscribe if you're watching on YouTube as well, by the way. And if you're
Drop a like.
if you're listening to it on Spotify, hit the follow button, please. The crowd, injuries in the crowd.
Oh,
I talked about this yesterday, which to listeners would have been 2 weeks ago, with Rory from Dayseeker, who you were on tour with.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
He mentioned quite a lot more show stops.
They've had they've had one almost every show since
Dayseeker or Pierce the Veil.
Dayseeker.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
Are you noticing? Because I mean, I probably by this point I might be cancelled for my view that was put out. Still, it's real rough to navigate. Are you're not noticing more show stops?
Personally, no. I think because we're opening, right? So we're just like at the start of the night. We're on for 30 minutes, so it's like for
the
us.
dream though.
I know.
Love it.
And also we sound check at like fucking 5, and then we're off stage at 8. So it's like
Perfect.
I only needed like 3 hours of my day taken out. It's crazy. But I'm not personally. But I did notice something creasing the other day with Dayseeker because it was like, it was Rory. Like, so I go up and do an acoustic song with them. So, and obviously these big venues like acoustic, like supporting and doing acoustic, personally, I think it's quite brave. When I go up there, I kind of, it's more nervous for me in that moment than the set because I'm like, oh my God, it's just me and Rory and then like 10,000 people.
Fans,
yeah. I was just creasing because it was like, Rory's like up there, like playing acoustic, singing his heart out and it's like very vulnerable. And there was just like a part of the crowd where one of the girls was like, shouting for water, which is obviously like a human right. So I'm glad she got the water. But I remember being like bro is just singing like very quietly, and like you're just like
sweating.
And she's like, please, I need water. So personally, we haven't had that, but I didn't realize because I go up with them, it kind of destroys my concept of watching them, to be honest, because I haven't noticed that. But
they have one. I think it was like we did the Palladium in Cologne and. We were all in the dressing room and they were playing their last song and it was like everyone had stopped playing, but the tracks were still going. And I remember being like, every time I hear that, I'm always like, oh, something's happened. Yeah. So I went and had a look and it was just someone in the crowd had fainted. Yeah.
I mean, like, that sucks, but I feel like I've been noticing it more. And I'm like, either everyone's fainting more, or some people aren't really fainting.
I see what you mean.
Which is why I'm like, am I going to get cancelled for this? But we had it. We only had one on our last headliner, which obviously it's fucking an hour and 15 minutes of pure fucking metal.
How many songs is that, by the way? Because your songs are short.
Sucks, bro.
Is that like 20 songs?
No, it's like 15, and like we have to come off.
That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say though, that's a good stretch. Like, because we did like 14 for our 70-minute set. So for you guys,
I think ours was 70, really.
Yeah, fair. But even then, no. Yeah, sorry. Keep going.
I hate playing for that long. I just play. I get progressively worse and worse. I had a sinus infection as well. I just got so bad. But then we went straight into a US tour, which where we were playing 30 minutes with Silverstein actually, and it was like I was on fucking juice.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I was like, I'm a fucking monster.
You go from running a marathon to a 5K.
Yeah, it was fucking glorious. But yeah, Rory was telling me. There was a venue that you guys played and they warned them, like, just so you know, there's these cards. Red means actual show stop. Green means you can go again. But people have been pretending to pass out so they can get selfies with the band.
No.
That's mad.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Because it's the worst thing. It's not that bad for us, but for you, it must be the worst thing. I get it when I'm playing and I see like a commotion in the crowd, my brain automatically goes, oh my God, I hope nothing's happened. I hope everyone's okay. Sure. Yeah. And then I fuck up. And then it must be even worse for you because you don't want to, if you stopped for every single little thing,
yeah, you're right.
You'd get no songs done.
You play like 3 songs.
But at the same time.
And it's hard to gauge what is little and what is big in that moment. That's the hardest. Like for me, like I've really struggled with being a vocalist, to be honest, because it's like, I can sing, but that doesn't mean I can publicly speak, or that doesn't mean that I'm good at taking selfies, or it doesn't mean that I have good handwriting to tattoo on people. Like, do you get what I mean? There's so many stupid, like, obviously they're lovely, sorry, I don't want to say they're stupid, but it's like, there's so many very different aspects of the job for me. And like, the public speaking thing is my least favorite thing of all. And like, the concept of me being like in charge
of the safety.
It's like, it's so out of my jurisdiction. So like, yeah, I do struggle with that. And like, I don't know as well, because I did it before. I like kind of, this guy, what was this guy doing? I don't know, this guy, I think a guy was being a creep to a girl. I think it was something like that. And I visibly saw it and I like called it out. But it's like, I did that over a part of the song. There was a nice part of the song that I would have preferred to have sung. And I sacrificed that bit. And then afterwards, I remember thinking like, did I overreact? You know, and it's tough because it's like,
it's real hard.
Maybe,
I don't know. You've got to gauge it on like a fucking split second thing. Like, do I do something here? Yeah. And that I got heat again. Me getting heat on Twitter. Who knew? I got heat because when Astro World happened, Travis Scott.
Yeah,
I was like one of the only people that was just like, guys, this is not his fault. Like, we played shows to 500 people and it's real hard to see if someone's passed out.
Yeah, for sure.
You're playing to fucking, I think it was 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to, and obviously there may have been problems with security and there was problems with, they hired the wrong security and all this stuff, but Travis Scott's not sat there with a blueprint going, nah, I need cheaper security. Like, he didn't give a fuck. It's
Yeah.
whoever organised it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really felt for him because people were just like, oh, he needs to be like put in jail for murder and shit like that. And I was like, it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's real hard to judge. Is this someone dead? Is this someone who's passed out, does need medical attention? Is this someone doing something for attention?
Pretending to be passed. Like, yeah, you're right, because the difference between being passed out and pretending to be passed out is like huge. And then the difference between being passed out and being dead is like,
fucking,
I don't know, that guy could, you're right, that guy could be dead, or that guy could be pretending to be passed out. And it's like, that like line is like quite thin, actually.
The problem is security. You know, like, you must have had it before you played a show and the security just, they're just not with it.
First day.
Really, this tour, don't say the venue, but give me...
Oh, no, sorry, as in like it's security's first day.
Security's
on the
first day,
job.
yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah. But we do, man, security is also like a big problem. And it's like, it's tough because like we grew up working in bars and like, I hate to be, you know, I don't want to like put a blanket over the industry of security, but it's like, I knew so many like people with like complexes who were working that job just so they could like punch a guy once a week.
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I mean? Like, and these are the same people that are supposed to be like catching like 15-year-old girls. Like, you know what I mean? They don't care about that.
But some of them, and the hard thing is, it's like there's almost like there's no like real training. 'Cause some of them, when they're amazing, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we just turn up to a show and we're like, there's a security briefing and we're like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you just have to trust those fucking people and be like, okay, I guess these guys are good. Sometimes we've had to stop songs and just be like, can we get more security? Or like security are being like punching people and shit. And we're like, can you just fucking... We had a show in Montreal and security just wasn't even there. Sam Carter did security for us. Sam Carter just came down to the front and was like grabbing people or whatever because people were just falling on their heads.
For selfies. And,
It was perfect.
yeah.
The perfect fucking grime.
Yeah.
What I do want to talk about is your history of collaborations and splits. Because they're odd. Not odd. They're like you pick weird bands. So off the top of my head, Alpha Wolf, Loathe.
Yeah. That's pretty much
That's
it.
a new Dayseeker one.
Yeah, which will be out by then.
Which will be out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a professional. That Alpha Wolf, how did that one come about?
Yeah,
is that co-written? Like the songs written together, or was it just a split?
Nah, it was just the features. So it was like obviously me and Lockie did put our like personal like stamps on the things, but like I'd written the lyrics, they'd written the lyrics, so it was kind of, and to be fair, Scotty from Alpha Wolf had kind of written the melody, you know what I mean? So for me it was more about like essentially like personifying that melody as like a clean vocalist. Yeah, it's a cool thing that I'm really proud we do, and I'm genuinely like annoyed more bands don't do it. Like I'm so like, for example with Stray, I like you guys could put out a split EP with like so many bands and it would be cool as hell, man. You know what I mean?
Like we're like scared of EPs though.
That is valid. I think personally my least favorite part of it is the fact that it's like not an album, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But like at the same time, it's only 2 songs from us. So it's kind of like the way I've always viewed it is like, since I joined the band in 2016, we've released a song every year annually. So we've released an album, and then we've released a split, and then we've released an album, and then we've released a double A, and then we've released. So it's like our way of like.
Sorry,
Media Man just fucking
sorry.
Really knocked over the butt plug, bro. But yeah, it's like our way of like keeping contemporary, but keeping cool as well. You know, like the double A's that we do have always been pressed on picture discs, so like people can own. There's only 2 songs in our discography you can't physically play on a record.
And do you play those songs live?
Yes, generally we still play like Gravity and Birdcage.
They don't make it to the albums.
No.
Good for you.
Yeah, and it's funny because because it's like for me personally, I think like growing up with like Enter Shikari did it quite a bit, like Destabilize.
It's very DIY.
Yeah, just like who cares? Just take the song. You know what I mean? Like because we wrote in, we love it, so listen to it, and it's like. That was always the way, but the split thing, we did the first one in 2018 with Loathe.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, it was like we really liked each other's bands and we felt like each other were like about to do something special.
Was Faisal in Holding Absence or Loathe at that point?
So Faisal was in Holding Absence at this point. So,
interesting.
Yeah, we've got a really, it's a really odd timeline to be honest. But basically, Faisal was our guitarist, my best friend and housemate from uni, and like, you know, it's funny because when I think about him, I don't think about the basis of Loathe. I think about like my buddy I used to drink cider and play Halo Reach with every weekend, you know? So it's like, so we go way, way back. And then, but yeah, so we were I guess that lineup for like 2 years. I think it was tough because he was putting a lot of pressure on himself. And oh my God, this could go really deep. not in like a bad way either.
Okay.
Like he's coming to my wedding like in 2 weeks time. So it's like,
Congrats.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, so like, we're still super buddies, but like, yeah, I think it was like, I think he put a lot of pressure on himself and things maybe kind of didn't end up exactly where he wanted them to be, if that makes sense. And I think the pressure that he put on himself kind of just killed him, man. And it's really hard looking back. Like, I feel, you know how it is when you see younger versions of your friends, you know what I mean? I feel sorry for my old buddy being in that position, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically we did that split EP with Loathe, and I think we got the first mixes of our album back, and I think he'd put a lot on the producer we were working with and a lot on the experience, and it came back, and I think he was just like heartbroken with how like not up to scratch it might have been, I think. And then basically it was kind of awkward at the time, but it was like we were like, okay, this is all like there's a lot going on, and he basically was like, look, I need space. Like, can I go kind of like in the van with Loathe, basically? So can I kind of like chill with them for a bit, and have a few days away from you guys and just get some space or whatever. I know you haven't even asked this question, by the way, but we've never explained it. It's interesting. So I
was getting there,
yeah,
but you were
cool.
going to give me anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, and then basically after like 5 days maybe of like hardly seeing him and realizing there was like a disconnect, and we'd kind of caught wind the Loathe's bassist was quitting, we were like, I personally was like, I need to speak to him like as a friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I think we were in Frankfurt, and I can see the room in my head now, and like, we both had a little cry and we chatted about it, and it was kind of like, look, do you not want to do this anymore? And he was kind of like, nah, man, I don't think so. And then I was like, do you want to join Loathe? And he was like, yeah, I think I probably will. And it was like, it was a very lovely passing of things. Like, you know what I mean?
Doesn't often happen like
very
that.
rarely. Nah, I know.
Crazy.
And that's why I'm so open about it, because it's like every now and then, like somebody will be like, your guitarist quit your band mid-tour and joined the band you were touring with. Like, that's mad when you think about it on paper, but we love Loathe. Some of our best friends in the music industry, and Faisal will always be one of my best friends. And I'm just glad that he is completely on his feet and like way happier now. I think that's like a huge thing.
Okay, so what I want from you, I got like two little fun little questions related to the collab situation. Well, from each of you, I'd like a dream collaboration. And I don't mean a split. I mean like an artist that would be holding absence and this artist.
Ah, man, it's really tough because it's like, because you don't want to be unrealistic. Like, do you get what I mean?
No, you can be unrealistic. I don't think anything's unrealistic. Look at fucking Spirit Box and Mega the Stallion.
Yeah, true.
There's fucking nothing. And you've got Alpha Wolf with Iced Tea. Like, there's nothing.
Personally, I think Hayley Williams is like my favorite. I just think she's so good.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, I think she'd crush. And like, she's done a lot of cool bands in our scene. But for me, the main thing, I keep thinking about my favorite collab in years was the American football song she did with them. I don't know if you've heard it, but I think you'd really enjoy it. It's like, it's so good.
Nice. Hayley Williams, what about you? Pensive.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, you're looking at a pensive man right now.
I feel like it would be, like, it's weird because I would want to see someone else play in the band. So mine would be like, I'd love to see Connor Dennis in our band.
Oh, it'd be a drummer.
Yeah, that would be unreal.
I feel like you and Connor have got quite similar wacky fucking Phil styles.
That's what I mean. Like, it would be
it'd be
him.
the same fucking band. Next. I want a different one. I appreciate that. Connor's fucking sick. Cool. It'd be the same band to me because he serves the song.
Yeah.
No.
But also, he's a shredder. I don't know.
Give me an artist. Don't give me a fucking drummer.
Maybe it would be like one of those like Royal Albert Hall things where like John Hopkins on like the tracks would be mega.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing would be sick.
That'd be sick. I love John Hopkins. That's a good.
That's a really cool shout. Yeah, because one thing I love about our music is like the soundscapes are like kind of. You could like. I'd love to just put out our tracks and minus the band, and there's a real like.
I mean, I love music like that. I fucking literally listen to soundscape music all the time.
Yeah, but
John
like,
Hopkins.
That would be lit, man.
I feel like that could happen.
That would be cool.
We're trying to do more like the last record we had much more like I don't want to say tracks, but it is like synths and shit like that. This record, we have a song that sounds like Nine Inch Nails, and then we have way more like synths and stuff on there. I don't want to leak who like we're trying to get, but I am like obsessed with the idea of being able to like just put out like, oh, they had Stray's industrial song.
Yeah, dude.
And then you can get fucking whoever on it. Mm-hmm. I had Health on the podcast, and they obviously collabed with Trent Reznor, well, with Nine Inch Nails.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
oh my
the song's
God.
amazing. It's like Health featuring Nine Inch Nails. It's called
Wow.
Isn't Everyone. It's fucking amazing. Unbelievable song. He was telling me some cool stories about like people can just listen to that episode, but like
that's cool
how it happened. Like, 'cause they toured together and it was pandemic, and they just sent a Hail Mary like, please. Hey, we're all not doing anything. Like, do you want to do a song together? And Trent just went, yeah.
Oh, sick.
That's
how
like
sick
bucket
is that?
list as hell.
Yeah,
man.
fucking
I was
crazy.
watching. Have you seen the new Shogun show?
You're gonna say exactly what happened to me, but it's my favorite show I've seen in so fucking long.
Same, so good.
Wait, we got a new episode today, I think.
I'm like on episode 6, so like I'm a little.
You
bit
got
behind.
one in the tank, and then there's another one today. What were you gonna say though?
But like I was watching like some samurai fight or whatever, and I could do like a blunky fucking little Trent Reznor thing, and then it turns out it was Atticus Ross.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It was probably the same fucking moment.
Probably, man.
I was watching it and I was like, it sounds like Nine Inch Nails. And then I Googled it and it was like, it's Atticus Ross. It's fucking 50% of Nine Inch Nails.
I tell you what you should check out if you haven't is Halsey did an album
with
Trent. But what happened was she wrote a whole album, and then they just removed all the music and wrote an album under her vocal stems. It's and like it's almost like why, like how the fuck is like something so cool existed in like the pop world, like and like famously it's like a flop album for her. Like none of her fans like it.
It's fucking great though.
But it's awesome.
Her fans don't like it because it's fucking good.
Yeah.
You didn't ask, but that's my dream collab. That's my dream anything. Dream guest, dream collab.
Go.
Dreams just be my mate, please. Yeah. Be my fucking goth daddy mate. Okay, so we've got John Hopkins and we've got Hayley from Paramore.
Imagine the three things.
And Trent Reznor, just combining three together. Wonder if John Hopkins and Trent would butt heads.
That'd be a collab though, those two. Holy moly.
And then I have another little fun thing that I'd like to do. And we'll see if there's an answer here. How many times you quit your band? Like, been in such a bad mood that you're like, that's it, I'm quitting.
I'll be honest, I'll be completely transparent. The America tour, I struggled to sleep for about a week because I was like, I'm like, not like, is this right for me? But I was like, I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
And I was like, is the band the problem? Like, does that make sense? I remember being like, obviously it was like a very personal depression, you know? And it was like, I think being in a band is very interesting because it's like, the mirror is like there 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's like you're looking at your, like I have like body image problems and I have self-confidence issues. And it's like, so every night I need to get up there, look like me, be like me, act like me, sing like me. It's just like constant.
And then meet people with make
who
sure
think I'm cool apparently.
Make
and
sure. Did I
agree.
come across like a wanker?
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, it's really, so yeah, like looking that close to your own reflection for like weeks at a time is like draining. So yeah, I gotta be honest, I've never, I don't think anyone in our band that hasn't actually has quit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it was the first time I was like, maybe I'm just destined to just like get a call center job instead, because maybe I'd be happy.
I'll tell you this right now, no. You definitely fucking wouldn't. No offense to that.
Yeah.
Was there a particular moment, or was it just like the burnout?
Yeah, it was just the burnout. But it was like I said, like crying on stage, I remember thinking like, whoa, this is a new low. This is really bad.
Yeah.
And then I got to be honest, like for the first time I was like, I think I'm like approaching canceling shows for my mental health, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that should be destigmatized anyway, but I'm aware of how awful it is to cancel a show for any reason. It's really, really rubbish. And then anyway, like 2 days later, I caught like sinusitis, and then we had to cancel a show for my physical health. And I remember thinking that was really interesting because it was like, I felt really guilty about canceling shows for my mental health. And then 2 days later, it's fine for me to cancel shows because I'm ill.
Weird, isn't it?
Really,
but you
yeah.
know why you probably felt weird about that is because I've seen the comments in general anyway these days are mental, but like the comments when a band cancels something. Did you see the comments recently for Polaris?
Oh no, I didn't even.
Dude. Polaris have pulled out of the Dayseeker tour, replaced by Silent Planet, and obviously, like, there's something going on because Dan had to go home, and they had their fucking brother die.
Yeah, and
like,
it was
they
like
went straight on tour.
Yeah,
and then they cancelled this tour, and I just saw comments like, no rescheduled, or I only bought tickets for Polaris. It's like,
fucking buy the tickets then. Sell them.
What the fuck? Like the me culture, the Amazon Prime culture, I like to call it, which is just like, well, I ordered this yesterday. Why isn't it here today? Like, it fucking worries me about having to cancel shit. To the point where there's been shows that I should have cancelled, and I've just been like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. And then I'll like make a message just saying, hey guys, I'm feeling fucking shit, and if you don't want, I'm not gonna come out and meet people. But like, I do get that. The fear, and it is because people just need to just take a step back and go, it's the dream job. It's the dream job, but it is real fucking hard.
It's not always dreamy.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I always say that. It's like, it's every like nuanced emotion you're feeling plus shame and guilt and like all these things because it's the dream job, It's like, everything is bad enough, but because it's the dream job and it's still happening, it's somehow worse,
Yeah, but there's a physiological reason as well that our mental health, which I haven't actually spoke about on this podcast, but I struggle with it in general, and for like anyone with ADHD or anything like that will understand. Like, physiologically, when you play a show, the dopamine you get from that is like fucking 10 lines of coke. Like, it's nuts. You know what it's like, that fucking feeling. And the way a brain works is when it produces dopamine, you get the exact opposite downswing afterwards. Whether or not you get the dopamine from gambling or, a big rush of dopamine from a show, drugs, gambling, whatever, you will physiologically, unless you do that thing again, or to a greater degree, or a drug or something like that, you will get the complete opposite drop in dopamine. So like, we might be having the most fun in the fucking world on stage, but
it's gonna come
down, and usually it's when you get home, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm the worst when I fucking get home. I'm like literally in the fucking gutter. Day one, I'm like, oh, this is nice. Then I didn't get that dopamine that night, and my brain goes, hey, guess what? This fucking sucks. Fucked me up. I mean, people need to fucking just give everyone a little break. How many times have you quit your band? You ever quit? Quit in a rage? Even in your head?
Honestly, I can quite confidently say I've always thought about like skipping stuff, but never quitting. I think like, and not to be like deep about it, but like I don't think I could ever do. This sounds so ridiculous, but like I can't do anything as well as good as I can do being on tour and like playing drums.
Yeah,
like if I quit, then it'd be like I'm the most pointless.
There's no plan B.
Bag. Yeah. It's always been that for me. So it's weird because like I kind of like in my brain I've kind of like there is no quit, there is no plan B. You have to do this. It's hard and like
it's a very unhealthy way to think.
Yeah,
I
was gonna say, man, like that last tour we did, we were all kind of in the gutter and like being like my life's purpose is this.
Yeah.
And I'm miserable. Like it's like you said, it's like unhealthy to put so much onto anything.
Yeah.
So it does kind of explain why sometimes when you're miserable, you're really miserable because it's like my life is pointless. I'm literally pointless without this.
I also think that's a big reason a lot of people didn't come back after the pandemic, because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I had that mentality like, oh my God, if this all goes away, I've got nothing. I'm zero. And then like 6 months into the pandemic, obviously I'm still bummed out, but like part of me was just like, oh wait, like if touring went away, like I'd have a life, I'd have stuff to do. And I think a lot of people I know just never came back.
Yeah, because
they were like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I can just
and I think we're
exist.
both lucky because it's like we're both on like upward trajectories and we're both like, living good lives with it, but I can understand, if like your band has kind of fallen off a little bit and like you're touring once every 9 months or whatever, like, yeah, you're right. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I could have packed it in. Didn't though. I'm back.
Good job.
I'm back, baby.
This is mad, right? As well. I'm kind of gonna say to you about it, but I remember.
Can this stay on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
no cut, Simon.
Something you said years and years and years ago. It was like 2012 or something. It was like I think maybe you had just joined Stray. but you tweeted, and you were basically like, I can't remember exactly what it was 'cause it was so long ago, but it was basically along the lines of like, to be fair, it's actually kind of bad. But you were like, if you're in a band and you're touring the world and you're like not happy about it or something, or like you're like, you were like, what, like,
I remember this.
yeah. And I remember being like, yeah, and like that actually, that's like stuck with me the whole since I've been in the band.
Throw me under the bus.
No,
Say what I said. No, because I remember saying it, right? And you know what? It pops up in my head every time I'm depressed. I'm like, you didn't know, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Come on, say what I said. Say what I said.
It was basically something like, I can't remember it. I
remember exactly what it was because I think about it all the time. And you're right. It was 2013. It was before Stray. When I was in a band that was like touring like twice a fucking year. And I said, it was like, I'm ashamed of saying this. And I'm sorry that it stuck with you, because I said, like, you don't, something along the lines of, you don't know how good you've got it, right?
Yeah.
Because, and it came from a place of me having at that point a failed career. Well, as a touring musician, I was teaching drums, and I like teaching drums, but I saw everyone in fucking doing what I wanted to do, which was tour loads. And it was along the lines of, I said something like, "Oh, you don't know how fucking good you've got it," moaning about being on tour. Then I got in a band that toured all the fucking time, and I got fucking miserable, and I was like, oh yeah, this sucks. Yeah. And I honestly, I maybe think about it like once a week, like how much that grounds me, because you don't know everything. I don't know if it's getting older, but like,
it's like grass is always greener, right?
Yeah. And I found in my fucking old age, I'm just like, I'm way more observant of stuff. Like, people seem to be annoyed at this, or this is happening, and I'm just going to fucking sit and wait before I tweet my opinion on it, because more often than not, 10 years later, I'm fucking absolutely wrong.
I don't want to use this word because obviously I'm describing you with it, but like, I've felt this way a lot, where it's like, I think the music industry, because it's so polarizing, so quick and whatever, it's like, it's easy to feel like bitter, I think, a lot. And like on the outside,
I was definitely bitter.
Yeah. And it's like, even now, like, I'm really proud of our band and I love everything about it. But like, sometimes I look at other bands and be like, oh man, I am bitter that I'm not in that band. You know what I mean? Even like, as good as we've got it, like contextually, it's so easy to be bitter in this scene.
Yeah.
Like a tour gets announced, like this band gets this tour, and I'm like, we should have got that.
Oh, I did it yesterday.
Fuck that band. yeah.
But now what I do is I just don't tell anyone. I go, and then I check myself the day later. I'm like, you know what? Shut the fuck up. Yeah. But it's interesting that stuck with you, because I think about that honestly weekly, because of how fucking wrong I was.
It's like a true north to come back to. Yeah,
how fucking wrong it was. And I'm sorry that stuck with you. No. Just you can have some days off, mental health. It's fine. It's fine. But let's look at it this way. I was probably, even back then when I was just touring a little bit, there's people who get annoyed when people cancel shows because they haven't been there. And like that was probably me then. And it's just like, you need to just take a little step back and deep breath and be like, I truly don't know what's going on here. I'll probably shut my mouth. I think I'm getting better in my old age. That's why I don't tweet as much, because I'm just good at shutting my mouth.
I'm a drafts saving kind of tweeter now.
Big
Holy
time.
Shit.
Yeah, but then I do that. But then I do, like, when I have a little bipolar swing down, I'm like,
what's in the drafts?
I'm gonna release the drafts. Send it all out there. Did you prepare me a 2 truths and a lie?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
One each, or one combined band?
We've like done a band one. Yeah. So
let's do it. I still don't know how the game works, by the way. So you tell them, and then I'm going to sort of ask some questions to try and decipher it. I don't know.
So
I don't know if people like this bit, by the way. I've just been doing it.
We were gutted about the Dream Festival, by the way.
You do both if you want.
I haven't really prepped that though. But kind of.
I feel like Ash might have prepped.
Yeah, Ash
got a Dream Festival prepped.
Yeah, I got everything.
All right, let's we can do both. Let's do both. Anyone in the comments or whatever, just tell me if you dislike both of these sections or if you prefer one of them more. The problem with the Dream Festival one was some people just didn't get it, and it was just like felt like festival press, and I was just like, I just don't want to do that. Like, to me, I hope you've had fun, but none of this has felt laboured or like. So when you were writing this, that's why I didn't do. I had a question on like, it's just because I wanted to know, but I didn't want it to come across like festival press, like. Because you are the singer of Holding Absence and you are the fucking face of Holding Absence, but you are not originally the original singer. Do you get any fucking little loser that's like, I prefer the old guy?
Oh my God. Literally, like 3 nights ago.
Oh, here we go.
Lucas was on stage with Dayseeker doing the bit, and Ramon, the bassist, texts me a picture of like a screenshot of a story, and someone had literally called Lucas Zach, who was the old singer.
So somebody like, I guess Googled like it, but
oh right, so it's just an accident.
So I think it was an accident, but it was so funny because it has been like 8 years now. But
I didn't even know there was one.
Well, good question. Holding Absence's first show ever, so with the original lineup, was supporting my old band as Ash drumming. So it was very much the inception of this band was. Does that make sense? So we were really good friends. Well, obviously I joined the band, so of course I was really good friends with everyone. But like, I was really good friends with the singer at the time as well. But yeah, I think, I mean, for anybody, check out. There's a band called Parting Gift, right? And the old vocalist of Holding Absence started Parting Gift after like they parted ways. So it was a really cool band, and I think probably what Holding Absence would have ended up sounding like, I imagine. But yeah, for me, like, I think it is funny. Like, I do hate the, like you said, man, like there's no original members left in the band thing. It's so
there is.
cringy.
I'm the original drummer. I'm going to die on that hill.
Yeah, and even though, like,
I'm the same as Jay.
Actually,
what do you mean, old guy?
Yeah. But it's like, who? Like, dude, shut up. Like, you know, like Holding Absence before me had 2 songs.
It's just people don't want to be the coolest.
People like to think they know.
People still say it with
things.
Sam. I'm just like, I prefer the Nightmares vocalist. Relax. No offense to the guy, but come on.
Shut up. But yeah, honestly, it's not really a thing because like I don't want to suck my own dick, but the band did like.
I mean, you are the band to me, and not no offense to anyone else. It's like you couldn't have another vocalist. You'd have to split up if he left.
Yeah.
If he did one of his famous quitting.
Yeah, if like one of these nights you get a text.
I'm sad, I'm quitting.
But yeah, we don't get it too often. But it is funny though. Every now and then I'm like, our wiki page says more ex-members than current members.
Oh, I hate that. Why is everyone so fucking obsessed with it?
It's cringe.
Like you wouldn't like football teams. The sort of people that post these things often like football. But like. A football team, you wouldn't be like, well, there's no original members in Manchester United. Of course not.
They're all dead.
Of course not. They got too old to fucking play, or they didn't like it, or they're dead. Or like a business or anything like that.
Yeah, it's
like,
so stupid.
Oh, there's no original member at Coca-Cola. I'm not going to drink that anymore.
And like, you got to think as well. Like, I think it's really interesting because it's like bands as like a, you've got to like zoom out. Like, and you think like at the end of the day, like, yeah, you're connecting with. You either connect with the people or you connect with the vessel, right? You know what I mean? Like for me, for example, like Norma Jean, I think their later albums are way better than their first stuff. And there's obviously no remaining members but it's like, I liked that band that came to exist years later. I thought their music was good. I don't really care who was there or why or how long they've been there. But then, you got to think about like the concept of a band as like a vessel, like for example, like Slipknot, obviously just like adding members in and out like over time now, and it's like, honestly, it really doesn't fucking matter. And like, obviously I know Corey Taylor's the GOAT, and like you said, I think the vocalist is the hardest member to like swap out. Yeah. I mean, they spoke about it years ago. They were like, maybe one day Corey's son will replace him. And I'm like
Marvel, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool as fuck, dude.
Sick.
Yeah, you're right. And it is like Marvel, where it's like Slipknot has become like more than people now. It's become like
it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's become Spider-Man.
Guess who what? It's fucking, we'll get Max, Morales. Get Morales on.
Yeah.
Stop pretending you know more than anyone. It's the same thing with like, I'll play this song like an old song.
And it's like, okay, cool. You know an old song.
Yeah, well done. When you're screaming it from the crowd, play this old shit song. Everyone, I know more about the band than you. It's like, well, you don't like the band because you're saying, like, there's nothing. I'll look at you when I say this, everyone. There's nothing. You might think this is a compliment, but when you say, even if you don't say I prefer the old stuff, if you say, like, this is your nostalgic right to say this, right? But if you say, even my favourite song by you is like a really, really old one, like no musician makes music with the goal of getting progressively worse, right? We all think the last thing we did is the best, and we all believe that, and that's why we make it. It's a backhanded compliment, even if you say, like, obviously, maybe it meant a lot to you and everything like that.
Which is valid.
Yeah, it's definitely, and nostalgia is a whole big thing. But like, It's not the slam dunk of I love your band that you think it is. Like, oh, I really love your first song ever. It's like, thanks. I think I was absolutely fucking idiotic when I wrote that song.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
tell me
you're
like the
worse now.
newest song and we'll all be your best, mate. It's a little hack there. Two Troops on a Lie. We didn't even start it.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
The first one is that we self-drove a bandwagon for our first ever America tour. The second one is that our 5'8" guitarist started internet beef with the 6'3" vocalist of Code Orange. And the third one is that my cousin is in Boyzone.
These are the best ones yet. And if you don't like this
We were up
segment,
all night
you're a fucking idiot if you don't like these ones. So much to say. Yeah. Which member of Boyzone?
Shane.
Is he Welsh?
No, he's Irish.
He's
I've got,
Irish.
so basically my grandfather is one of 7.
If this is a lie,
then
I'm going
his-
to give you a fucking Oscar.
And then his sister May, my aunt, had 7 kids. The youngest one was Shane. So all my life I grew up going to basically boxes to watch arena shows of my cousin performing
And now
in his boy
you're a
band.
vocalist and a very good one. I'm put that on the back burner. Cool. All right, before I give my decision, let's get. I think this is how you actually play the game. What was number 1 again? You self-drove a bandwagon. Yeah. Who drove?
Me and Ben.
I mean, I know it's doable because it is just a box truck.
Yeah, but
But
they're massive, bro.
yeah, I mean they fucking suck. Like,
And it
if
was
you
the
get a
first-
driver that is bad,
We'd
like,
never
you
been
are
to
not-
America before.
You're
This
not
is
sleeping.
Yeah.
Bandwagon on your first American tour.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
well,
for
this
you.
is the
like
thing.
that.
We shared with a band called Caskets, and we did
4
share
piece-
some of the
4
driving as well.
The joy of a 4-piece. That's fucking so sick.
Yeah, dude.
I love a bandwagon.
Easy. Yeah, same. I mean, sleeping can be
Well,
kind
if Ash is
of
driving.
traumatic. Yeah.
What bunk do you pick?
I'm the back right middle, so I can pee easier.
Okay.
Not that they're far away from the toilet.
What bunk do you pick?
So on the first tour, I didn't have a bunk because the driver bunk was the one that no one picked. Everyone else had a bunk. I would, when you walk in and there's the sofa,
Yeah.
I'd sleep on that.
What about the bit where the driver sleeps though?
Yeah, that's in the cab though, right?
Yeah.
So you'd
we would
cycle-
rotate drivers. So
Okay.
like me and Ben would drive, 2 of the guys in Caskets would drive, and then if there was a shift where I wasn't driving that night, I didn't have a bunk, so I just have to sleep on the sofa.
I feel like that's true because there's big elements to it, but we'll come back to that.
Yep.
And you're 5 foot what?
3, 4.
No.
You're leak his height here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor
no.
bastard.
I'm just trying to paint the picture.
I'm a guitarist.
Do you know what Scott
Sorry.
looks like?
Yeah.
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 I mean, you are, no offense to you, there is no possible, how McFly or Busted or the Jonas Brothers have a cadence when they do a promo.
Yeah, no.
You guys are fucked. It's like fucking
We've got
New
2
York
6
City
foot-
skyline. It's got fucking, there's, I was about to say the ones that blew up, they're not there anymore. And he started beef with, what's his name? Jamie.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want this one to be true so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Boyzone is a very well constructed lie.
My cousin is in Westlife.
Oh, who were Welsh?
They're Irish as well.
Irish as well.
Literally, yeah.
Which one is in Westlife?
So he is Shane as well.
there's two
Because I was
Shanes.
basically I
I
can't
don't know
lie.
if there's a Boyzone.
This will be Shane from Boyzone was the one with tattoos on EastEnders. Yeah,
That's what I was
So I was
thinking of,
hoping
yeah.
you weren't gonna quiz me on that because I was the best lie would be a very very close truth. So
yeah, I mean, because it was real Oscar winning.
Thanks.
What was the beef with Code Orange? Is there still beef?
No. It's completely fine, and it's stupid because it isn't really beef. It's just this has been so funny for us for so long, and there's no beef with. Please don't clickbait this.
I mean, I could say some shit that would start my own beef, but I'm not going to bother.
But basically, when we were recording The Greatest Mistake of My Life, I'm the boring diplomatic member who normally if someone's going to do anything naughty and fun, I'll
That's why
stop
you
them.
came in to put out his fire.
Yeah. But anyway, I was asleep one night. And then basically, I think Scott had a couple drinks, and our old bassist James was an agent of chaos.
And Dan had gone away for the weekend.
Yeah.
Dan had we were in Middle Farm for a weekend just alone.
So
Okay.
Ash likes, poking the bee's nest
Yeah.
every now and then. James was a crazy, whacking the bee's nest with a stick, and Scott was drunk, and I was in bed. So terrible combination. And basically, James was we were talking about how Code Orange looked like the hardest band in the world. They looked like they could literally kill you.
Yeah.
James said to Scott, I bet you wouldn't message Jamie from Code Orange saying do you think you're hard?
That's fucking awesome because that guy would not be able to take the joke.
Well, so to be fair, I think he did in the end. But then
So wait, who egged him on?
James, our old bassist.
Yeah.
And I guess,
Me and
Yeah,
James,
I was going to say
technically.
you had
Yeah.
a glint
So
in your
Scott-
eye there.
Scott, it's so good.
you were there to be fair. yeah.
Scott sent the message and it was like maybe 11 p.m.
Also, as well, Scott, this was before the blue tick. This was 4 years ago. So I think Scott had like
Oh, yeah.
2,000
And
followers.
it
so
just
it's
said,
really-
"Do you think you're hard?"
Said, think you're hard. And so Jamie messaged him at like 5 a.m. our time. Obviously, he's in America and was like, huh? Loads of question marks. And then like 2 hours, Scott was a bit
No,
like,
it was longer.
"Oh."
It was like 4 hours later.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking it was funny that he'd like come back to it like 4 hours
It's
later.
really funny.
Yeah.
Jamie basically said, speak up to Scott after. And so then Scott just shot himself and was like, oh, I need to tell him that it was a joke.
And I was dead.
And
I'm
what
sorry.
did Jamie say after that?
He was like, it's cool, man. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Oh, fair play.
So he's legend. Like legend.
I'd envisioned that going worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was really funny though.
I woke up though and I was like, oh my God. But every now and then we'll be like, speak up. Like that's
So
become
yeah.
canon now.
Think you're hard.
I nearly think so. UK do not do you just think you're hard. Fucking amazing. I nearly started a Code Orange. It wasn't even. I didn't think it was a beef. I wanted to keep it up. Again, pandemic, fucking bored on my couch. When Code Orange like announced their new like look, but
Yeah,
like
it was called Underneath.
underneath,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And but you know what? I loved the aesthetic
Yeah.
of it, but also I made a funny joke at the time, where I got the cast of Hellraiser, a photo of the cast of the Xenobites from Hellraiser, and I just put the Code Orange font above it and just wrote Code Orange. And I tweeted it and I was like, yeah, this is fucking sick. And Tom like shit the bed. He was like, bro, why are you doing that? Well, like, fuck, they're fucking nice guys. Why are you trying to start beef? And I was like, it's funny. Like, it's not. And I had to delete it in the end.
Oh, no.
But anyway, that was annoying. Okay. And then the bandwagon obviously was true.
Yeah, it's crackers.
Fuck that. You never do it again?
No. I remember the first. So when we agreed to do it, we were like, it'll be fine. Self-driven vans in the UK. It's just a bandwagon. How hard could it be? Easy. It's probably like a mini tours.
Fucking half a bus.
Lorry.
So
Yeah.
I was filling in for a band in the UK supporting Trash Boat, and on the last night of the tour, they were like, "Oh, you guys going to America soon?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, yeah." They were like, "Well, you in a van?" And we were like, "Nah, we're in a bandwagon." They're like, "Oh, sick." And I was like, "Yeah, we're going to self-drive it." And like all five of them in a heartbeat all turned, and they were just like, "No, you're doing what?"
Yeah.
And we were like, self-driving? And they were like, do you know how big they are? And I was like, no. And then my precedent going in was, I just don't want to do the first drive. So everyone else was like, okay, fine.
I'll never forget Ben pulling off of like Hollywood Boulevard.
That was me.
Oh, was
So
you?
I ended up doing the first drive and I was like shitting my pants like, the whole time. It was horrible. Driving
Yeah.
through West Hollywood.
I can't drive in America anyway. I can't do my brain just can't go, wait, this is just opposite.
Yeah.
This fuck. But then there's been a bunch of bandwagon drivers we've had to get rid of because if they're not a good bandwagon driver, you just can't fucking sleep.
Yeah.
When you get a good one, though, I can sleep all right. But
yeah.
if you're just a normal driver, like you guys probably were, it's fucking hell.
Yeah.
But I do love having the shower. I prefer it to a bus.
Same. I can
If you
stand
get a
up.
good driver, I'll prefer it
Yeah,
to a
I
bus.
see what you mean. Yeah, because like with buses, you need to like shower in the venues, right?
But, like-
so unless you're on a massive tour with massive venues and great showers,
Yeah.
like love the Barrowlands, right? We're obviously playing it tonight, played it last night, but like, have you seen the support room shower? It is funny as fuck. It's like
Is that the
4
one that's
foot-
by merch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like 4 foot tall. You kind of gotta go like under to
You must
get
be
in.
this tall to shower.
Yeah, and you have to go through the merch.
But if you're
area
in a
to get there.
bandwagon, obviously like fuck it, I'll just shower and things.
Just
But yeah,
having
being
a
on a
second
bus is
green
like,
room.
oh,
Yeah, it's banging.
Love it. Do you want to do a dream festival?
Could. I just know it. I could do it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, just pipe it out quick and then we'll be done.
So it'd probably be in Australia. It'd be in Melbourne.
See, this is
Oh,
what everyone
best
says.
thing.
That's why I stopped doing it. It's the best. Yeah, it's best.
It's just the best though.
It's the best.
But there'd be like 4 days off before. Because the last Australia tour we did like 4 days off.
So
It was
did
like,
we.
banging.
Yeah.
In Melbourne?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Melbourne, best city, man.
I drank so
Yeah.
much coffee. It was
Yeah.
fucking absolutely mental.
Bliss.
Manchester Press. Shout out Manchester Press. Fucking sick coffee.
Yeah, it would be in Melbourne. And then because you always do a thing where it's we have to play.
He's a fan. He's a
Yeah,
fan of the
a real
pod.
one.
He's a
real
patron.
one.
Oh, I love that.
So it would be stack. Oh, I don't know if I want to put stack dress first now. I want stack dress on it because
Okay.
it's like ultimate hang with stack dress.
yeah, they're our best fucking boys.
So it's like
yeah.
I feel like you and Sam Ogden are like
They're
weird,
like-
weird drummer brothers.
they
mate.
literally are, dude. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's just a ginger ash.
Yeah.
My joke is that like they stopped. You know the Tyson Fury. They stopped making them when they made me.
Yeah.
They tried it again with Sam, and then they were like, no more. That's my joke with that.
That's funny.
But yeah, the first three would be like a mix between Static Dress, us, and then Thornhill. So it's
Nice.
like love those 3 bands.
Yeah.
That's the given. And then the top 3 is, and it's Dream Festival, so I'm allowed to pick
Yeah, you
this.
can do
Green
anything.
Day playing American Idiot, but Trey Cool is stuck in America, and I get to play all of American Idiot.
Perfect. Could
With
you do
them.
it on
Yeah.
on a fucking
Yeah.
dime?
If they called me up now and they're like, "Hey Ash, can you? We're playing American Idiot in full tonight."
You could do it. You could rock
Yeah,
it.
I could do it like now.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
formative drum album.
Yeah, it was the first album I bought, so
Fuck it.
with
Same.
a lot of other people's. Yeah,
That's a pretty
yeah.
cool first album though.
And I used to play along to it to the CD in a conservatory with my drums, and I just used to learn I like all of it, all the Jesus of Suburbia fills, just a lot, man. I got it.
Nice.
It's in there.
I think one of those was Queens of Stone Age Songs for the Deaf.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Classic.
That was
Yeah.
my like.
Dude,
I'm gonna learn this
Queens,
back to
man.
front.
I didn't get Little Sister was always one of my favorite songs, and then like I recently got into their later stuff. I can't believe how good it is.
Really
like
fucking good. There's just a lot of it.
Villains
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the one Clockwork, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe how like consistent. Like for me now, I'm like, fuck, man. Like them and Deftones with Diamond Eyes, Kono Yokan. Like it's insane that they've both had like almost like career high albums like decades later.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, go on. Then who else you got?
And then Paramore with Connor.
Paramore with Connor. You're just getting all these drummers are just stuck somewhere.
Honestly, it's just my dream festival is me stood side stage for the whole thing, just watching everyone play. That's my like. I love doing that.
I do
think
love to watch Connor play.
That's like the perk of doing this. That's the only thing that I'm like, if I can, like, I've done it almost every night in this tour. I've watched Lonnie play every night, and I'm like, fuck, it's just like the best thing in the world.
You just watch them steal shit.
I was drum tagging for Funeral for a Friend last year, and I got to watch Meshuggah side stage for that, and it was the first time I'd ever seen them. And part of me was like, do I want to go out the front because I know they sound amazing, or do I just sit and watch Tom for like 30 minutes and just get a masterclass?
Yeah, we did a couple of shows with them on our last like summer run,
Yeah.
like side shows, and I think I watched out front for the show, the actual club show we played, just because I wanted to see, I wanted to be able to hear. 'cause I don't have cats
Yeah,
or
side
whatever.
stage is ass now, and it's
But
really bad.
I did. Their drum tech, Jimmy, is just such a fucking nice dude. He was just like, "Did you watch side stage?" Because I wanted to watch Future Breed Machine.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I didn't." And then when they played, they headlined one of the stages at Full Force, I think it was. And he like texted me and was just like, "Hey man, come up to the stage," and then like let me on, and then I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it, not even side stage, behind. Just
Mad.
watched the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Freak show.
Yeah.
What's your catering though? You're missing out on big things.
My catering is like an all-day brunch. So it's like
In Australia, though, is it?
when imagine that, man. Like Australian coffee all day.
Breakfast.
Banging, yeah.
Avo,
Breakfast
smashed
burritos.
Avo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
Pancakes.
What are you drinking? Are you a
awful.
drinker?
No, I've been sober for 6.5 years.
Nice, good for you. What about
Thanks.
you?
No. Well, because of my voice, I don't drink on tour. So it's like, and then when I get home, I like binge drink
Nice.
because I miss being drunk.
I did do it that way round, and then I flipped it. And
Yeah.
I did drinking on tour, sober at home, and then now I'm like I'll drink if we've got a day off, and then at home I don't drink. Like I think yesterday's, the podcast before yesterday's was the first time I've had a drinking. I had a whiskey with a guest, but it's the first time I had a real drinking in 6 weeks. I just sleep better and I'm mentally better because of it.
I just think I'm still in that point in my life where, like, when I'm home, I'm like bored all the time.
How old
like
are
that's
you?
bad, isn't it? I'm 29, so I look younger, but
baby face.
yeah,
Good for you.
But
That was a compliment, baby.
yeah, no, but yeah, no. On the road though, I never drink. Like I go sober pretty much for the whole thing. Like I haven't drunk a drip all. No, have I? I don't know. No, I wanted to, but yeah, I think like for me, it's like because of what I do vocally, it's like a lot of maintenance and like just like and so even I have really bad acid reflux. I'm awful at sleep.
All the vocalist shit.
Yeah, it's just like
sucks.
same shit. So like I don't know how people drink on the road as vocalists.
Brendan Murphy, prime
I don't
example.
know, dude. Well, when this
Sam
is actually
Carter.
because
He's quit now, but
who knows?
Sam Carter.
Okay, fair. But Brendan, I remember when we first met him. So kind of really random, but like I said, we were in a band before this band. But like in 2013, Brendan featured on a song of ours. Like we were like the smallest band in the world, but we were massive Counterparts fans. I got a Counterparts tattoo, like
Sick.
one of my favorite bands.
get that in the camera. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because he stayed on Scott's couch in like 2012 when they did the Your Demise tour, and
Fuck me, that was a while ago.
and we were just like, bro, like could you feature on a song or whatever? I think I think we paid him 100 quid, and like, what a legend. But anyway, at that point, he was straight edge. Yeah. So it was really random. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. There was a long, yeah. But I remember when he like got into Jameson's, I remember being like, oh, I thought, it was straight edge.
the opposite now.
Yeah.
And what's your after show party then? As a sober man,
there isn't one.
There isn't one.
Everyone's done by
Bed.
10.
That is that's that old man dream festival.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in. That was lovely. Thanks for coming.
No, thanks for having us.
I
mate.
hope the rest of your tour was wonderful. And cheers, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Simon.